So we have Mr. Richard, and I'll be asking him some questions on basically his life journey over the years as a finance professional. Richard, how was your early life, and what lessons did you learn in your early life which basically helped you create some sort of relationship with money?
Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you, Deepak. It's great to be here and to be part of your very impressive conference, first of all, here in Kolkata. So my life journey started in rural England, and then I've been very fortunate to have done a number of different careers, every single one of them involving India. I was a military helicopter pilot for 18 years and served on exchange with the Indian Armed Forces here in India. I first came to India 30 years ago when I was going through jet training. I was very lucky and worked for the King and Queen in UK for 10 years or so, and came to India with them, and then was vice chairman of Standard Chartered and used to cover ultra high net worth individuals, including those entrepreneurs based here in India. I think my biggest learning point throughout my childhood was formed by an event that happened to me when I was around 16 years old, and my parents were very successul entrepreneurs, and they had an import-export business based out of the UK, dealing with the Middle East. And in the mid-1980s, their business went very, very badly wrong, and they got on the wrong side of a big international deal. They lost all of their money, and one day two bailiffs turned up and seized our house. And so I went, as a teenager, from a life of privilege, a life of a big mansion, big gardens, tennis courts, and so on, to being homeless and losing all of it. And it taught me that money is very fragile, and it doesn't matter how many millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, into billions that you have. The fragility of wealth is something that you should never take for granted. And so I think that lesson for me has taught me a couple of things. First of all, I think it teaches you about your own start in life and what you want for your family and your approach to risk. But also it teaches you, when dealing with clients, that you really need to future-proof your wealth management solutions to ensure that things like that don't hopefully happen.
Great. Richard, at what time did you actually come to know that my calling is wealth management and my calling is finance? Because you were a pilot and you ended up being a wealth manager and now maybe a private banker. So what was that eureka moment? Yes, this is what.
To be honest with you, I've never had one. My life has run on a series of interactions, of serendipity, and I've sort of wandered from one career into another. I've never really planned my life, and I've been thrilled so far. I've had a very exciting life, as I say. All of my careers have involved India, and living here in India, being an entrepreneur here in India, is undoubtedly the most exciting place in the world to be right now. I think that, to be honest with you, when I first went into finance as vice chairman of Standard Chartered, I did it from government service, effectively, and I didn't think it was going to be that exciting. The thing that makes finance and wealth management exciting is that the clients represent, of course, every single industry on the planet. So it doesn't matter whether it's a deep tech startup at one end of the spectrum, it's more traditional oil, gas, commodities, real estate clients at the other end of the spectrum. All of us are getting to know all of these clients. So that's the thing for me that really makes this industry exciting, energizing, are the clients and the journey that they're all on. And to be alongside them, hopefully, for that journey is incredibly broadening, I think.
So can you share with us some anecdote or something which happened where you felt the satisfaction that I have actually impacted somebody's life for better? And that is something very satisfying, that I have done something good for the other person. And this is one profession where you can actually do it a lot of times. So
yeah.
something.
Yeah, I've done a number of different initiatives during my time in the corporate sector. One of them I started at Standard Chartered was called the Future Global Leaders Program. It was a program that was really aimed at next generation women and men who were in the age group of, say, 22 to 32. They were going to inherit vast amounts of money. They'd all been to the finest universities in the world, but I felt that they were lacking perhaps more guidance and tuition on leadership and how to lead their organization through the tech transition that we're seeing now in the world. They needed more tuition and guidance on sustainability, which is absolutely key to not just businesses, but all of us on the planet in terms of achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Entrepreneurship and taking from their previous generation elements that worked or perhaps didn't work. Philanthropy and giving back, which has to run parallel with any young, entrepreneur. And then last but not least, communicating, going out into the world, and whether it is for, their company, the state that they're based in, whether it's for India, and banging the drum for India internationally. And so the Future Global Leaders Program, I've probably derived most satisfaction from, and an amazing group of young men and women, about 150 or so, have been through the program, an 8-day program in London and regional programs around the world, including here in India. And I think that's probably the most exciting part of wealth management. The next gen who are coming back, who are increasingly becoming more globalized, who are ready to embrace technology, who are seized by sustainability and making a difference in the world.
This is a very dynamic field which we are into, finance, wealth management. So what things do you do to keep yourself updated so that you are always one up on the client and the other professionals around you?
Yeah, it's always very hard because our clients, because they're so sophisticated, obviously are deeply immersed in all of the news, all of the industry trends that are happening as well. I think you just have to try and put aside each day a period of time where you're not. I mean, I'm co-founder and CEO, so a lot of my business is running our team. We're a relatively small team at True Beacon in Bangalore. We have 50 or so and offices in a few other parts of India as well. But you have to absolutely keep up with what's happening, not just here in India, but globally as well, because we're totally interconnected now as a world and the finance markets. And it's not always easy, but just you have to, I guess, carve out a bit of time for some quality reading to keep yourselves hopefully one step ahead of the clients.
So this is a question which I get from many finance professionals, and that is work-life balance. So how do you balance this work, which is very demanding, at this position which you are working, and family life and personal time? So what's the mantra?
Not sure there is a mantra. I mean, I'm lucky that my 3 children now, 2 of them are at university, 1 will go off, and I'm here in India on my own as well. So I have more time at weekends where I don't necessarily have to be with the family and so on. But I think our clients, I'm a firm believer in working hard and playing hard and setting boundaries. And I think from what I've seen with all of our True Beacon clients, occasionally, of course, you have to do something at the weekend, but the overwhelming majority are very respectful of our personal time. They don't necessarily phone you at the weekends. Obviously, if there's some sort of urgency behind something, of course, that's what we do. But I think increasingly they're very respectful, and as long as you can have a weekend and recover from the hectic week and the long hours and the travel and so on, then we're off. But it's a high energy business. We have high energy clients. They are on the go, and we have to keep up with them. And I think that's if you don't want to be in that space servicing ultra high net worth individuals, you don't have that energy, then don't play in their world.
Great. Last question to you, but a very important question for us. That is, if somebody is wanting to enter into the wealth management field, what skills, knowledge, and attitude should they have?
That also is a good question, because at the moment we have something in True Beacon called the True Beacon Internship Program, and we have, I think, around 5 young men and women at the moment who are going through in the summer. And they're all Indian origin, going to universities both here in India and also overseas. And I think we're trying to shape their journey. And indeed, I have a 21-year-old son who's now in the US going into wealth management. What advice do I give him? I think that wealth management ultimately is about a combination of both IQ and EQ and melding them together. It's equally the ability to read your clients, to form a relationship with your client, to understand what they're trying to achieve on their journey, and to try and come up with sophisticated solutions that would allow them to achieve that. But also you need to have a relatively good understanding of financial markets as well. But, and the big but is not to try to do everything yourself. I think for wealth management, we do have investment advisors, we do have specialists who are in fixed income, in obviously equities and so on. So to appreciate that it's almost impossible to understand everything about our world and the solutions we're trying, and to be open to forging partnerships with other people who you can bring around you to provide solutions, whether they be legal, they might be tax, they might be on globalizing investment portfolios, they might be on forming a constitution for the family that will future-proof the next 3 to 5 generations. So I think that's what we need in the private banking and wealth management space. People who can forge relationships with clients, but also have enough book smarts to be able to provide investment solutions for them as well.
So it's basically a combination of relationship management skills and the technical skills. And the person should build both of them.
Yes, you have to. You have to. It's to be honest with you, in our industry, I think you would fail just doing one or the other. You can have an IQ of 180 and come up with the best investment solutions, but if you can't communicate, you can't articulate what you're trying to achieve, you can't talk to your client, understand their needs, then it's all for nothing. And likewise, you can have the best relationship with your client, but if you don't understand what they're trying to achieve or what their business is doing, again, it'll be useless.
Great talking to you, Richard, as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Deepak.
Thank you.